Legacy of the Egyptian mummy. Thousands of years ago, in the year 3067 BC, a fearsome warrior known only as the Scorpion King rises from the shadows of legend. He is a commander of unmatched ambition who leads a vast army across Egypt, leaving devastation in his path. Starving and near death, the warrior makes a final, desperate plea to the gods, more specifically to Anubis, the ancient Egyptian god of the afterlife and judgment. His conquests are brutal and swift, but his ambition ultimately becomes his downfall. A black scorpion crawls onto his hand and bites him. The transformation begins. His life is saved, and in return, he becomes the immortal servant of Anubis. In his new monstrous form, the Scorpion King summons the army of Anubis, a dark legion that sweeps across Egypt and conquers it in the name of the underworld. After 7 long years of war, the Scorpion King's army is defeated, and he and the remnants of his forces are exiled into the desert of Amshir, an unforgiving place where no man survives. The Scorpion King's soul is taken, and his army is buried beneath the sands, waiting to be awakened by the one who dares to wear the bracelet of Anubis and summon him again. Alex, meanwhile, is thrilled to be part of the action, though his curiosity constantly gets him into trouble. Anubis answers. Inside lies the bracelet of Anubis, still shimmering with a golden aura. Despite warnings etched around it, Rick takes it with him, but if he wins, the world is doomed. Evelyn is immediately struck by a powerful sense of deja vu. But there's a catch. The bracelet must be worn by a child, and it must lead them to the oasis of Ohamshire before the sunrise of the 7th day after it is worn. A cult led by the wealthy and power-hungry Balthus Fairs, along with Milanay, has one goal: to resurrect Imhotep, the ancient high priest and once lover of As he awakens, he inhales deeply and says her name, Anxunamun. He slips it on his wrist, and it locks in place. A sudden flash of light surges through the room, and the bracelet projects a vision of a map into the air, a magical star chart pointing toward Ohamshire. Strange visions overwhelm her images of ancient Egypt, a grand palace, and a mysterious woman wielding twin says. The Scorpion King is offered a deal, his soul in exchange for power. Desperate, he accepts. But once his work is done, Anubis claims his due. Rick calls on Ardeth Bey, the last surviving Medjay warrior, who warns them Imhotep has returned, and this time, the stakes are the fate of the world. A countdown begins. If the wearer does not reach the Scorpion King's pyramid within 7 days, the bracelet will kill him. Whoever defeats the Scorpion King will command the army of Anubis. It's now 1933. 8 years after the events of the Mummy. Rick O'Connell and Evelyn are married and have settled into a life of relative calm by adventurous standards. They now have an adventurous, clever 80-year-old son, Alex, who seems to have inherited both of his parents' best traits. Our story picks up in Thebes, where the O'Connell family is exploring a newly uncovered section of an ancient temple. Rick remains grounded and focused on the present, navigating through traps and ruins. As the family delves deeper into the temple, they discover a stone chest sealed within a hidden chamber, unknown to the O'Connells. They are being watched. Back in London, a dark ritual is underway. The cultists recover Imhotep's remains from a secure museum and use a forbidden ceremony to bring him back. His decayed body rapidly regenerates. Now alive once again, Imhotep is told of the bracelet of Anubis and the chance to command Anubis' army by defeating the Scorpion King. They need Alex O'Connell. Back at their mansion in London, Alex, curious and left unattended, opens the chest containing the bracelet of Anubis. But the bracelet is more than a map. It's a key, a compass, and a curse. That night, the cult attacks the O'Connells' home. In the chaos, Alex is kidnapped. Rick, Evie, and Jonathan barely escape with their lives. The race is on. The O'Connells team up with Izzy Buttons, an eccentric sky pilot with a blimp named the Sahara Sky. They begin the pursuit, using Alex's star chart to trace the cult's path toward Ohamshire. His wit and knowledge of ancient Egypt become critical tools, even while he's held captive. Meanwhile, Alex, ever clever and resourceful, starts leaving clues and hieroglyphic messages along the way to help his parents follow. Nefertiri was the guardian of the bracelet of Anubis and the sworn rival of Anxunamun. A parallel conflict is unfolding. Both women are repeating history, this time with even more at stake. At one point, they are attacked by giant scarabs, living remnants of the ancient plagues. Evie's visions intensify. She begins to remember more of her past life as Princess the daughter of Pharaoh Seti. The desert journey gives way to thick jungle terrain as the Jonathan Odith Bey. Nefertiri was no ordinary princess. She was the royal guardian of the bracelet of Anubis, sworn to protect it against theft or misuse. Anxunamun, Pharaoh's mistress, and secretly the lover of High Priest Imhotep, plots betrayal. Jealous of Nefertiri's role and status, Anxunamun challenges her in a dramatic duel with twin daggers. They are prophecies, unlocking the truth about her connection to the events now unfolding. The two women engage in a fierce fight, which ends only when Pharaoh arrives just in time to witness his own murder at the hands of Imhotep and Anxunamun. Armed with bone daggers and teeth like razors, they swarm and Izzy pushed deeper into dangerous territory aboard the Sahara Sky. Izzy's rickety hot air, she collapses into a dream state and relives a memory of her past life as Princess Nefertari. It's a bloody, fast-paced action sequence. They escape only when Izzy uses the airship to blast through the jungle canopy, giving them air cover. Despite being a prisoner of the cult, he cleverly leaves behind a trail of stone carvings, etched symbols, and broken objects at each stop. Using his knowledge of Egyptian history and archaeology, he hides clues that only his parents would understand. The jungle thickens, and the air grows cold and heavy with unnatural mist. They've entered cursed territory, where the army of Anubis was once sealed beneath the sand. Rick finds one of Alex's last clues carved into a tree, but the pygmies have not gone. They attack again. Even Imhotep, for all his power, is momentarily overwhelmed. Only those closest to him, including Alex, survive by pure chance. Rick, determined and tense, refuses to show how worried he is about Alex. Evie, shaken by her visions, struggles with what they might mean. Why is she remembering another life, and why now? Consumed by jealousy as Evie's presence grows, more threatening her memories of Nefertiri returning. In the meantime, Alex is doing more than surviving. The cult's journey is brutal. Their caravan must pass through cursed terrain where the desert gives way to jungle, and then to an eerie swamp. Imhotep, meanwhile, is regaining his full strength. He begins to unlock the power of the 10 plagues of Egypt again, using them to frighten and control the cult followers. One night aboard the airship, Evie's visions overwhelm her entirely. We see the grand palace of Pharaoh Seti I, where Nefertiri trains in martial combat under the watchful eye of her father. But in the shadows of the palace, as a result, Anxunamun commits suicide to allow Imhotep to resurrect her, and Nefertiri, stricken by her father's death, swears eternal vengeance. Evie wakes up gasping, shaken. The visions aren't just dreams. As the cult reaches the edge of the oasis of Ohamshire, a new horror awaits. Suddenly, out of the trees and underbrush emerge pygmy mummies, small, fast, and vicious undead creatures that hunt in packs. The scene becomes a nightmarish ambush. Men are dragged into the shadows, screaming. Panic sets in. Later, the O'Connells arrive at the same area, following the path of destruction. Rick and Edith engage in a brutal fight through the jungle, slashing and shooting their way out as the pygmies descend from vines and leap from the trees. Finally, both groups reach the Pyramid of the Scorpion King, a massive black structure that rises from the center of the oasis. Its walls are covered with hieroglyphs, warning of doom. The sunrise of the 7th day is almost here. If the bracelet is not placed on the altar inside the pyramid, Alex will die. The countdown ends, he is safe, but the pyramid begins to awaken. The walls shift, the floor rumbles, and the final gate opens. The resurrection chamber of the Scorpion King is now exposed. Inside, the temple is alive with energy. Statues seem to watch the intruders. Booby traps and ancient guardians awaken as Rick, Evie, Jonathan, and Ardith fight their way in. Meanwhile, Alex is placed on the altar, and the bracelet detaches from his wrist. Imhotep prepares to face the beast. His goal is simple: defeat the Scorpion King, control the army of Anubis, and rule the world. Rick and Imhotep enter the final chamber. The walls close behind them. There is no turning back. Suddenly, the ground splits open, and the Scorpion King rises not as a man, but as a monstrous hybrid, half scorpion, half human. She screams, but no one comes for her. She dies, alone. The pyramid collapses behind them, the oasis consumed in dust. Ardith Bey salutes them from the ground, fading into the desert. Jonathan, ever greedy, tries to sneak away with a bag of gold, but it falls over the edge, lost forever. A terrifying creation of magic and rage. Played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the creature bellows with fury, its tail crashing into columns and its massive pincers shattering stone. Only the spear of Osiris, hidden in the pyramid, can kill the beast. Imhotep tries to control him, invoking Anubis, but the Scorpion King grabs him and nearly crushes him. Jonathan and Rick recover the spear during the battle. In a heart-pounding moment, Rick drives the weapon into the Scorpion King's chest, delivering a fatal blow. The creature dies, but not before letting out a final roar that triggers the collapse of the entire pyramid. Rick reaches for Evie, who pulls him to safety. Imhotep reaches for Anxunamin, who has the chance to save him, but she runs instead. Betrayed and broken, Imhotep willingly lets go and falls into the abyss. The pyramid begins to crumble. Everyone scrambles to escape. Imhotep and Rick both dangle over a bottomless chasm. In a twist of poetic justice, Anxunamin is soon trapped herself, surrounded by scorpions. The Ocanals escape to the surface, where Izzy arrives just in time with his dip. As they fly away, Rick and Evie embrace, grateful that Alex is safe. The camera pulls back as the Sahara sky disappears into the horizon, the family silhouetted against the setting sun. Death is only the beginning, ancient Egyptian proverb.